Hello guys, welcome back to Take Me Seriously. Today's podcast is a little bit deeper. We are talking about the mental health that teenage girls have to struggle with every day, and about how often we keep them hidden. So let's open up the conversation because silence cannot be norm.
Okay, hello ladies. I am your host Amy today. If you'd just like to introduce yourself to people who don't already know you.
Hi, I'm Scarlett.
Hi, I'm Starla.
Okay, and let's get into it. So, you've just sort of introduced us in Starla around invisible battles. So the mental health and the things we do not say. And one of the talking points I kind of want to open up with you two guys is what you feel the signs of anxiety and depression that go unnoticed in girls and women.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to start this one off?
Why don't you?
Again. Wait, what's the question?
So I suppose I could ask you both. Have you ever yourself felt anxious or have a low mood or felt depressed before?
Yeah.
What do you, if we go into what do you first of all feel yourself when you feel low or anxious?
For me, it's just a whole bunch of mixed emotions, but mainly on the negative side.
Yeah.
So it could be mad, angry, like anxious. Like it could be all bad emotions in one.
Okay, Scarlett?
It's the same thing. You could just feel like you just shut down emotionally and you don't want to talk to anyone really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel that there are signs and symptoms that maybe we hide because maybe we have to get on with our daily life? We have to go to college, to work.
Yeah.
You might have to force yourself to be in a social situation. What sort of things do you feel that we hide?
Possibly like things like family problems or obviously like personal problems and issues.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You could hide as well feelings like real depressive feelings that, oh yeah, I don't want to do this, be here anymore. You hide that and put a facade on and show people I can be happy.
And what does that look like? What does a facade look like?
Cheerful, bubbly, everything from what you were feeling in secret.
Okay.
So it's a mask.
Yeah, just the opposite of
Yeah.
what you are.
So complete opposite. So
Yeah.
would I suggest, like, even if you felt like you didn't even want to get out of your pajamas and brush your hair,
Yeah.
you could actually completely overcompensate in terms of how you look on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. There's been times where I'm not even in a depressive state. I don't know if it's with all teenage girls.
Yeah, you
There's
just
been
don't want
a
to
few
get out
times
of bed or
you
you don't want to get ready.
Yeah, you physically cannot drag yourself out of bed most of the time. Like it's not even just laziness. It's sometimes I physically cannot get out of bed. I can't bring myself to get out.
And do you feel if you actually give in to that, do you feel then that you're almost isolating yourself?
Yeah.
When that happens? Okay, so move on then to the next talking point, which is around how do we mask our emotions with humour, silence and perfectionism? And if you guys could give any examples of when you've done that yourself, or maybe when you've seen somebody else who's done that.
I don't know. I've got to think about wait, what was it again? Sorry.
Where you feel you've actually masked your real emotions by using humour or perfectionism or silence.
I think that's quite a normal trait to have for all people, to be fair. Like, especially within the female category. Like, I think the happiness and perfectionist part is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it's more like, oh, the hair, the makeup, what the outfit is. Like, because I've noticed with a few things, not just me, with female friends as well, with depression, kind of depending on your appearance can help that or make it worse. Because it's, oh, I look good today. I feel a little bit better. But then it's like, I look a mess today. I don't feel as good as I would have been, kind of situation. So I think it also affects with your, like, it's affected by your appearance as well.
Okay.
Because like at 1 minute you'll go, oh yeah, I look perfect, and then you'll go, I don't look good.
Yeah. And
then it's like when other people go, oh yeah, you look so good today, and then it's like, I don't know. So it's like it's playing with your emotions. It's doing a mixed feeling, so you don't
Yeah.
know what is gonna happen.
Yeah, so that fits into like the perfectionist side.
Yeah.
And
Quite
do
a
you
bit.
feel, in terms of perfectionism and the portrayal of our mental health, do you feel that social media has a role to play in that?
It has a big role
Majorly, yeah.
because it can show people, oh, this is how you need to be. I'm gonna do this, so you have to be like that too. Then it will slowly but surely deteriorate your mental health, showing you that, oh, I'm this worse person than I was like a few months ago because of watching how perfect people are online, and then thinking, oh yeah, I have to be like that to
Yeah.
be perfect.
What is perfection online? What are we seeing? What are the...
Filters, Photoshop,
Yeah.
not the true image of what
Little
people are.
button nose, hourglass figure. It's the definition of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When, to be honest, it's creating a fake perfect image, if that makes sense. Like a perfect, like someone that's perfect shouldn't be labeled, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. There shouldn't be something labeled as perfect because nothing really is. No one really is.
And what do you think if we were to take Instagram as a guide to what our life should look like? What is Instagram telling us our life should look like? Like our homes, our jobs, our fashion, our wealth. What is Instagram telling us that we should be doing all the time?
Just logging everything,
Yeah.
pretty much. Log
Like,
everything we do.
vlog from the moment you wake up to the minute you go to bed.
sleep. Yeah.
It's like you have to show people you have this perfect ideal life, this perfect ideal job, perfect ideal friends, everything. But it's not ideal really, it's a mess.
It's almost like a competition, really.
Yeah. Like,
Do you,
who
do
can
you
be better?
guys see through it, or do you feel that we take that as a guidebook to how we should be living?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, because sometimes you can see through the little thingy they do, and then sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I think it depends on what the post is, to be fair.
And how do you feel that on the other side, I have seen clearly that mental health has become almost something to portray on social media. Do you feel that when people do portray their mental health on social media that they are portraying it in the right light? They are making it so you guys can identify with those feelings, or do you feel that it's being portrayed in another way?
Sometimes yes, but then sometimes no. 'Cause sometimes it could be a cry for help that you secretly don't know about, and then people could just go brag about it. Oh yeah, I do this and I do that, and it's competition. I can do this better than you. I can do worse stuff.
Yeah. So actually, who's more mentally ill?
Yeah.
Is just as much as who's got the tidiest house or the best car. And how does that make you feel? Does that, because it's almost a catch-22 then, isn't it? Like, people are hiding it on social media or they're portraying it. How does that make you feel as people who are basically the consumers of this social media?
Makes you feel a bit sad because it's like you could look through their videos from like a few months back or a few years back and see how happy they was, and then from being on social media you can see how much they've deteriorated from seeing stuff, getting comments about stuff, and it just brings them down.
Yeah.
You see a huge difference.
No, I've seen things like that where there's like influencers that I have followed in the past and stuff where they've been happy in their own skin, stuff like that. And then there's been a situation where they've unhealthily lost weight because they feel that they are not good enough.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing. I still follow them now and they're getting as much support as they need, stuff like that. But it's a big thing where you can see how much, like Scarlett said, social media can affect someone just by a picture. So I think things like haters and that don't help either.
And what sort of hate do you see when you're reading some of these comments?
Mainly body hate.
Mainly body hate, like, oh yeah, you've got a bit of chubby skin, you've got a bit of belly rolls,
Yeah,
bit
and there's
of
nothing wrong with
stretch
that.
marks, bit of uneven like appearance and that lot, like.
No,
And then it's like
hip dips and all that
you
lot.
can see comments as well where it's like, you're worthless, go do this and that.
No,
And it's the worst thing ever.
it is. It mainly, I've noticed it mainly happens to females,
Yeah.
but another thing is when it happens to males, they're actually worse. It may be like happening less to males, but the comments are worse than they are to the females.
And if it's like, it could be like about a vent account and that lot of a man trying to seek help, and then some people can comment and go, you're a man, grow up, man up, you shouldn't have these feelings.
I think that's another thing for like teenage girls as well. The
Yeah.
thing that they face every day, because with us now, like let's say we were around 21, 22, it wouldn't affect us as much as it does now. Like one of us could receive a hate comment and we think it's the end of the world, but if we're older, for an example, we
can
just brush it off.
We can learn to get over it.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing in teenage girls' lives, to be fair.
So you feel being a teenager does make you, in terms of your mental health, more vulnerable?
Yeah, in a way.
What if I was kind of challenge that opinion and say that, you know, even at those early 20s, and actually, you know, could be myself who's in the 40s now,
Yeah.
those comments are still going to hurt. How do we build resilience in ourselves then, to brush? I suppose it's no it's almost an amplified version of being in a playground and people
Yeah.
saying mean things to you, isn't it? But it's everywhere and from everyone. How do we build our resilience so that although these things occur, we can sort of brush it off, or we can move on for it? It's not impacting our mental health. And how do we do that through any age, even from starting from your age all the way beyond my age? How do you feel we should be building our resilience?
I think maybe just try and start with like trying to learn to be comfortable in your own skin, really.
To learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's a comment you've seen online, take off the app, close your phone for a few hours, do stuff that makes you feel happy and yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself some you time. Don't let people destroy what you love and about yourself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's your body. You can do what you want with it.
Yeah, exactly.
No one can tell you what to do.
Yeah. Or for certain things like, I don't know, girls that don't wear makeup or do wear makeup, take a break from it. Like, if girls feel insecure that never wear makeup, maybe make you still feel better for maybe one day of the week, wear makeup that day, and then for the rest of the week, don't. Like, get used to seeing yourself both sides, if that makes sense.
Yeah, take the filters away.
Yeah, then you can compare yourself, and on certain days you're like, oh wait, I actually don't look that bad. That kind of thing. Like, I don't mean like full face, I mean a few bits of natural makeup here and there, and you'll slowly see no difference, if that makes sense.
So it's like weaning yourself off a drug, isn't it? If you
Yeah.
get a lot of makeup or maybe a lot of filters or you've got some sort of warped perception of yourself. You've got to almost wean yourself off that, haven't you? And I suppose it makes sense what you're saying, Starla, is that you can't just do that in one go, because that could be quite detrimental. It's something you've got to build into your life.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that you are comfortable in your own skin, or do you feel like some of the things I've mentioned and we've mentioned today have happened to you?
There can be days where you could feel like comfortable in your skin. Like, sometimes I'll feel comfortable, some days I won't.
Yeah.
So I'll either put like some concealer or something on. I'll just risk it and brave it without anything.
Yeah. I think it's the same with every female, to be fair. I think it's just some days we feel better than others, so that will also depend on our mood, how we think we look. It's just all about how we see ourselves on set days, to be fair, in my opinion.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about how we're going to build our resilience, but I feel it's really important to talk about that sometimes you will struggle with your mental health. And you may cross what in the sort of medical term, you cross a diagnosis line. So actually it becomes an illness. It becomes something that you need to gain help with. And I'd like to discuss what you feel the perception of getting help is. So that could be that you are admitted into mental health services. There might be some people who are seeking private therapy, people who are having medication. And then at right end of the spectrum, people who might be what we've called being sectioned. So they are admitted into a hospital. What do you feel within your generation, your peers, the perception of that is?
I don't think there's fully a complete cut off. I feel that if there's been things like trying to commit, then that is a big cut off.
a huge cut.
What about you?
I feel like when you go, oh yeah, I really need to go see a specialist about this before it gets too worse. Some people will go, you don't need a specialist, just grow up, get over it. And then at some point it could be late to the point they've committed, they can't go back, they're gone.
Yeah.
And then people will feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things as well where, like, obviously, like you said, with the grow up, they'll convince themselves, I need to grow up, I need to do this, I need to do that, and it just consumes them even more.
And then it'll just break down straight up, and then they'll go, I can't do this, I need to commit.
Yeah.
So do you feel in the way that you're talking is that others might make you feel like you're wasting the time of professional help? You don't need that.
Yeah, because at some points people can get it in the person's head that's struggling. You seek therapy, you're a weak person, you'll waste their time. When at some point you'll realise when you go to therapy, they saved my life before I've done something I will insanely regret.
And do you feel going where you've said that going into therapy, or I've known through my mum being a nurse at a local mental health ward for a long time, is that people almost see you as less at that point and weak, as you said, Scarlett. Why does going through therapy or even hitting rock bottom, why is that a strength? Why should we see that as a strength rather than a weakness?
Because it shows you've never gave up, even if times got tough to the point you wanted to commit. You've shown people that you can persevere and be here to this day to seek help and get better for people in family, friends, anything.
Yeah, I think it's another thing where, like, I don't know if this is the right example to go for, because I have two-ish. It's a thing where, let's say someone's hit rock bottom and another person has too, but at different times. The person that has hit rock bottom can help. No, the person that has hit rock bottom before can help the person that is now at rock bottom. And it's such a nice thing to do because you can, not from the same experience, but you can slowly build them up. Or another case of if someone's hit rock bottom and they've hit it again, it's made them stronger because they can get back up again. Don't get me wrong, the second time they may not always get up, but they still try, and that's the main thing. So it's like a thing where you're still in a way winning because you're still learning to get up. Because if you've got it once, you can try and get back up again, and that's the main thing.
I think you're referring very much, Starla, to what we call lived experience, and I suppose we could move there. Why is it important for people who are working in the mental health system to have lived experience? And do you think that should almost be on a job application, the same like you need to get your GCSE grades in maths and English? You need to have you're right. You need to have done all these things for me to employ you. Do you feel that should be weighted against someone's lived experience, their ability to understand and be able to lift somebody up? Do you feel that maybe is something that should be considered on job adverts?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it makes them feel that no matter what they're feeling, obviously what state they're in, they're always considered in a way.
Yeah. It's like if you've missed out on GCSEs or whatever because you've sought the help that you needed, jobs should not criticise that and just give you the chance to at least sit them if you want to sit them again, because you can persevere and do it.
Yeah. It shouldn't be seen as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we do with our friends or our family if we kind of know or suspect that there's something going on?
So
All the noise is happening now.
Yeah.
What do we do? How are we checking in on our friends and family right now?
I'd say do mainly like a weekly check, monthly check, maybe like if you go to school with them or college with them, it's a lot easier. For those that you won't see a lot, maybe do like a monthly check, make sure that they're okay, because for all you know, in their head, it's I have no one to talk to. Like it could be I have all these friends, but none of them know. Like it could be anything. Like the most smallest checkup can mean everything to that person.
Yeah.
So it could be going on in their head and no one knows. Like it could be their friends know, but they don't know. So like those friends that know don't check on them every day because it's like, oh, I might irritate them, I might do this, I might do that. But then all it takes is that one friend that doesn't fully understand but still asks monthly. It helps them psychologically.
Yeah.
And do you feel we are maybe more isolated from, or there's less opportunities for our friends to check in on us?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that happening?
What was the question?
Why are our friends maybe not, why are the opportunities not there for our friends to check in on us, see if we're okay?
I think it could also lead to their personal life as well, because it could be they may be going through something like, I couldn't say compare to them having worse.
Something similar in a different perspective.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go, oh, I'm really struggling with this, and then make them feel bad and go, you've got it worse than me.
No, you should never compare your own experiences to others.
Yeah.
Like say, oh, theirs is worse, so I shouldn't be feeling. No.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that should be normalised. I think something should be spoken out more. But yeah, I think that takes a big part, to be honest.
Yeah.
And do you feel it's ever or never okay just to say to someone, I don't think you're okay?
Yeah, I think it is, because I think that would help them realise, because me especially, sometimes I can be a bit denial with the way I feel. When someone sits you down and goes, Starla, listen, you're not yourself, I can tell you're this, I can tell you're that, you're just not seeing it, I'll then clock and realise, and it will help me to notice the way I've been and help, if that makes sense.
Because sometimes you won't be able to see it yourself that you're struggling until someone goes,
Yeah.
you seriously need help.
Yeah, like, oh,
If you don't want to get it, we will help you get it, because you need to be here. You can't just brush it off as if it's nothing.
Yeah, it's the same with those people. Like, I've had a friend before, obviously. I'm pretty sure we've all had a friend like this before, where they're the kind of person where it's, I don't want to go counselling, I don't need it. Or it's, I'm fine, I don't need it. And it takes quite a while to kind of help them realise that, but when they realise it, it's such a nice thing because it helps them like overcome what they've been through and stuff like that. Sometimes they hit rock bottom for them to come back up again, which is okay because they still come back up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So relating to what you said with like obviously being denial and stuff.
Yeah, because if you go, oh, I don't need therapy, like if I had a friend that was really struggling, going, I don't need therapy, I don't need it, I don't want it, I'll be fine on my own, I'll say, you are going to therapy, I will come with you to go therapy, to book you in, whether you like it or not. I'm not going to lose my friend for something that's you are struggling to see yourself.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
And do you guys feel that young people know what to do? As you've kind of alluded to there, Scarlett, you're becoming into a crisis situation.
Yeah.
Do you feel that we're trained or educated at a young age what to do if someone has a mental health crisis? The same way I would assume you guys know what to do if somebody stops breathing or collapses. Would you know what to do if someone was having a mental health crisis, how to actually administer crisis first aid?
Yes. I think... Yeah, go on.
A little. I feel like I'd know a little bit, because it'd be like, you are going to have an absolute meltdown. I'm going to take you somewhere before it gets too worse and you harm everyone else, especially yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I'd do, and then probably reassure them, try to get them to go to therapy. And if not, then just boom.
Yeah, I think another thing as well, it's... Wait, I've completely forgot what we were talking about, sorry.
Sort of, do you feel that you've been educated in how to help someone when they're in a crisis?
Yeah. I think yes, but no at the same time, because I think with certain things, it's you can try and help, but you don't fully know how to help because you're not in that position.
Okay.
So it can be like a lose-lose, a win-win. It's like you never actually know. It's like a 50% chance. It'll either work or it won't.
Okay.
So.
And do you feel it should be in your hands, or do you feel you should just know? So if I give an analogy that, you know, you see a house on fire, you've got three options here. You can carry on walking and ignore it. You can try and put the fire out yourself, or what would the other option be?
Call fire
Call
brigade.
fire brigade.
Call in the professionals. Do you feel that you should have the knowledge and the power to know how to call in professionals the same
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
as a fire?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you guys know who they are? Who do you ring?
911. No, 911.
Yeah.
111.
It'll take them a while to get here, Starla. But
Yeah.
yes, ringing the emergency services, actually, there is a point when you're dealing with a mental health crisis that you need to let professional help come in. However, everything you said about being reassuring, keeping someone safe from harm, and sort of encouraging them to get the help is absolutely what mental health crisis first aid is.
Yeah.
And just for anyone who does want to access that, you can be a mental health first aid trained person.
Yeah.
And that will teach you how, you can deal with these things to make better but not make worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish with, how do we actually create space for ourselves in terms of what we'll call our circle of vulnerability? So how do we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with ourselves and with other people in order to almost provide an outlet for our emotions, to preserve our mental health? How do we do that in this crazy busy world?
I think that's more of a thing where you need to have like a very close circle with like certain friends, certain members of family.
The ones that understand you fully enough not to judge you, not to, you're like this, I'm going to spread it around.
Yeah. I think that little group of friends, like maybe an older sister, a father, a mother, like a cousin, like one of those where you have a deep connection with, that will just never judge, will fully understand it and try anything in their power to help. The same with a close friend. Also a friend that you consider as a family member, that one is definitely in a circle, I think.
And what does being vulnerable mean?
It means letting your walls down and showing yourself and other people, if you're with them, that I want this help, I need it, I'm not afraid to show my weak side.
Yeah, she's summed it up.
Quite literally.
Okay, so we are coming to the end of our podcast, and I believe, Scarlett, you will be doing our outro prompt today. It's a nice strong message, so over to you, Scarlett.
Remember, you're not alone, even when it feels like it. If this episode hit home, check in with yourself or someone you care about today. And remember, strength is real strength, asking for help.
Okay, and thank you. And I will leave it over to you to say goodbye to our listeners.
Okay.
And we'll come back for another episode very, very soon. Over to you.
Goodbye.
Bye.